well. Because
it's funny because that's a biblical principle. The Bible says it's better to give than to receive, which you can't understand unless you experience it.
Right.
And when you do give something, it is massive inside your heart. Mm-hmm. And you have received a great gift when you give away something. Mm-hmm. And then once you learn that, and someone wants to give you something back, it's standard for people to say, oh no, you don't have to do that. And you have to kind of rethink that. Well, wait a minute, I'm denying them that good feeling of giving me something. So you have to learn to accept things back. And that's pretty amazing. It's a pretty amazing way to live. It's the way your grandfather lived. Mm-hmm. And it's a thing that I've adopted as much as I can to try to think about, I could give this away, or I could make this happen, or I could be an instrument of God. Maybe God wants that preacher who totaled his pickup truck out and can't afford a new one to have the pickup truck that God let me buy cheap that I didn't expect to get. Maybe God really wanted him to have it, and maybe now's the time for me to sell it to him and let him make payments, and it'll all be okay.
Yeah. I had a conversation with somebody much younger than me recently, and he was telling me, he said, I've gotten to a place in my life where I feel like I'm falling away from the church and away from God. And I said, well, that happens. I said, but the grace of life is that it's not too late and you'll still find your way back eventually. I said, there's a reason why whenever you go to a church and they sing Amazing Grace, all the old people cry much. I said, I can't sing it without getting choked up. I can't get through a verse without choking up. I said, but you realize what a horrible person you've been for a lot of your life and all the bad decisions you've made. And somehow your life has been blessed enough to then turn around and allow yourself to have grace and to help others in a way that other people may have helped you. And I said, and that's the moments that are precious to you. And that's why every time you hear that song, you're like, holy crap, this brings us full circle. And it's that moment of full circleness that gives you that feeling of awe and amazement. I said, and you're going to struggle right now, and it's going to be tough. But just keep in mind, everything is happening for a reason. It's going to inform you later in life. Don't cross any lines that you can't cross back over. That's the whole thing. You got to tread lightly. Take some chances, see what life's like. Tread lightly, be aware. Just don't cross any paths you can't come back over, because you never know when you're going to have to. So, hopefully he took some of that advice. I don't know, he might listen to me and be like, whatever, old man. Whatever, it is what it is. But, so, we talked a little bit about this last night. What are some of the challenges that you have now in retirement that you didn't think you would have?
It's just when you work, you're on schedule always. Mm-hmm. If it's a weekend, you got 2 days to have fun before you have to go back to work, and you're going to have to get up out of bed at a certain time every morning, and you're going to have to go to bed at a certain time every night, because that's you're living. You can take your whole life and map it out on a calendar and break it down into hours, and you can say, on this day, no matter how far you go ahead that I can see, at this time I'm going to be doing this thing at work or something, because that's how your life is scheduled. When you retire, and I mean really retire, not someone who retires and they keep a part-time job, if you're really retired, then every day's Saturday. And that's awesome, but it also requires you to become your own boss, your own scheduler. You have to think about, what kind of life am I going to have now? For me and my wife, I'm lucky I have a wife, and she's a really cool lady, and I love having adventures with her. But I also love going back to when I was a child and I was either too young to go to school or living. We used to, be off. We didn't have school in the summertime, and it was awesome. I used to explore nature, and I used to. Oddly enough, my life then and my life now is very much alike, except that my cars were smaller.
You got more toys now.
the toys got bigger.
More expensive.
I used to play with these little cars. I was basically practicing assembling life with toys, and now it's life without the toys, except the toys are real or something, you know. It's not a lot different than being in the sandbox. I mean, you know, me and Clyde Williams used to play in the sandbox, and I had a whole life story that I was playing out in the sandbox with Clyde Williams. And the interesting thing about Clyde Williams is he didn't have a life plan. He was just like going to roll his car around or sit at his house and watch TV or something. And I was going up and down the road, and I was having adventures. You know, I was going to race somebody, or there was some bad person to come along, and I'd have to, you know, make sure that things stayed safe. I had to, you know, look after things and stuff like that. And I've grown up. It's like, yeah, my life's not that much different than it was in the toy box. You know, this is okay. But being retired is like that. It's like nobody's telling you what to do. Now, not everybody is lucky as me, because a lot of people retire and they can't retire, or they don't have any money, or they can't live. I was fortunate enough to have a job. I think back on this a little bit. At the time, it was the only job I could get, and I needed the job, and someone offered me a job, and I took the job. But because I was fortunate enough to have a little money put away, I'm fortunate enough where I don't have to work now, and which means my time is mine. Me and my wife, we can like say, so what do you want to do now? Where do you want to go now? What are we going to do today? Yeah, it's good. It's good that I can play a banjo. I would advise everybody get a banjo right now and go ahead and learn to play it, because once you're retired, you'll need something to do when you wake up at 3 in the morning. So get yourself a banjo. Go to rpeek on YouTube, and I've got a whole section of banjo lessons. And just watch all of those, sit down with your banjo and have a good time. And when you retire, you can sit around and do that.
Cool. Good. I like that. I want to do one in the future where we talk about aliens and ghosts, and like, I'm just going to call it a weird podcast. We're going to talk about all the crazy crap, time travel, whatever. We'll do that on a different time. We got enough for today. This is good.
I can tell you about Roger the Indian Ghost.
Right. You want to say that for later, or you want to do it now?
No, I don't want to do it now.
Okay.
It's too good a story to shorten up.
All right. I'm going to tell you about my ghost in the truck.
I've had ghosts in the truck.
Yeah.
Truck ghosts. Now, if you're a truck driver, yeah, you've seen ghosts.
Yeah. I've had ghosts turn things on that
were
out of my reach.
I don't think it was a ghost. I think it was an angel. I had an angel get in the truck with me once and tell me to stop driving.
Yeah.
Stop driving this truck.
I had your dad visit me more than once and turn lights on in the passenger seat, and the little cab light above over there, not the same truck, different trucks. I had one morning where I was telling the story to somebody while I'm sitting in that seat, and the light turned on above me. And I was like, all right, thanks, Granddaddy. Love you. Yeah.
We'll save that.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, thank you for being on here. You guys can find my dad on YouTube as rpeek, and on Instagram. He doesn't do much on there, Banjo Peak. But yeah, check him out. Also, Trish, under Trish Peak on YouTube and on Instagram. And yeah, thanks for being on.
Thank you.
Everybody remember to please rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends. Be part of the conversation. If you want to be on the podcast, let me know. We'll figure out some way to do it. Big shout out to all the big YouTubers out there. You want to give a shout out to your buddies?
Oh, there's so many. I'm pretty sure I'd leave someone out, but Big Daddy comes to mind.
Yeah.
He's so cool.
Hey, Micah.
And there's Stoney, and there's 63 Impala.
Eric Polston.
Eric Polston, and there's Toe Wrecker.
Tertessa.
And Cutworm. It's just one of the things I like about YouTube is a community. And I've met people all over the world during the last 12 years or so that I've been doing this. And they're my community. I get up every morning, I talk to them, they talk to me.
One Lonely Farmer. We can just name them.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them.
There's hundreds.
Appreciate every one of you guys. Thanks for being on. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for being a part of this. And that's it. I end everything by saying cue the cow. Do you want to do it?
By what?
I say cue the cow.
What?
That's how I end it. Cue the cow.
Cue
Cue.
the cow?
Cue, like you say, cue the cow, and then I put in a sound effect and then it moves.
Cue the cow.
Yeah. Cue the cow.
Cue the cow.
That's it.
That's it.
That's how I do it. All right. Cool deal.
Good deal.
Bye, y'all.